Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Gandharika Giridhari Gandharika Giridhari Gaurari Jai Gandharika Giridhari Gandharika Giridhari Gaurari Jai Lakshmi Narasimha Jai Vanantare Lakshmi Narasimha Jai Vanantare Jai Lakshmi Narasimha Lakshmidhar Simha Jaya Ananta Dev. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So we have assembled here on 3rd of October 2022 to discuss the first chapter, shloka number 12. So we first will recite the shloka, translation purport, and we'll sing the prayers. First chapter, observing the army, text number 11. Text number 12 I have to do. Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuru vriddha pitamaha singhanadam vinudyache shangham dattvam pratapavan. Tasya sanjanayan harsham Kuru Vriddha Pitamaha Singhanadam Vinudyache Shankham Dadmau Pratapavan Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham Kuru Vriddha Pitamaha Singhanadam Vinudyache Shankham Dadmau Pratapavan Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham Guru Vriddha Pitamaha Singhanadam Vinudyache Shankham Dadmau Pratapavan Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham Guru Vriddha Pitamaha Singhanadam Vinudyache Shankham Dadmau Pratapavan Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham Guru Vriddha Pitamaha Singhanadam Vinudyache Shankham Dadmau Pratapavan. Word to word translation. Tasya is Sanjanayan, increasing. Harsham, cheerfulness. Kuru Vriddha, the grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, Bhishma. Pitamaha, the grandfather. Singhanadam, roaring sound like that of a lion. Vinayadya, vibrating. Uchchahi, very loudly. Shankham, conchal. Dadmav, blue. Pratapavan, the valiant. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. Purport. The grandsire of the Kuru dynasty could understand the inner meaning of the heart of his grandson Duryodhana, and out of his natural compassion for him, he tried to cheer him by blowing his conch shell very loudly, befitting his position as a lion. Indirectly, by the symbolism of the conch shell, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side. but still it was his duty to conduct the fight, and no pains would be spared in that connection. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगुणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So, thank you all for coming for this particular class on Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, shloka number 12. And so till now, we have recently started this Bhagavad Gita session, and I have been given this opportunity by all the Vaishnavas, by the senior devotees here, to come here. And this is for the first time that I am sitting here on this Vyasasana. And to the comfort, the audience is very less. I have to mostly speak to the very less audience here. So that is good for me. So I pray to all the Vaishnavas, I pray to Shri Bindari, Srimad Mahaprabhu, that whatever I speak will help purify me, and I speak the words which are in line to the Guru Shishya Parampara, and which is favorable for everyone's devotional service and pleasing to the spiritual master and all the Vaishnavas. So till now, till this shloka from 1 to 11, there has been a journey in which Duryodhana actually is trying to perform some kind of a diplomacy. And it is very managerial, he is very managerial in his attitude. Like, if you see the previous shlokas, like shloka number 9, he tries to say that Bhishma is the one who is protecting the complete army, the complete Kaurava army. And then later in the shloka number, and he says that he is the one who is providing Raksha. And the same word Raksha he is using to address rest of the army, Kuru army. So on one hand he would say that Bhishma, you are protecting the whole army, and then you would find, okay, the rest of the army, they might not get discouraged. So to encourage them. So perfect diplomacy and managerial attitude in which he tries to give, comfort to the rest of the army and say that you also try to protect the Bhishma. But you have to understand that Bhishma is an exalted personality. And among the different categories of the warriors, like there is Ardharathi, then there is Rathi, then there is Maharathi, and there is Adirathi. The Adirathi are the warriors who are the topmost. And such people can fight hundreds and thousands of soldiers at a time. And it's said around 60,000 soldiers Bhishma can fight at a time. And to address that rest of the soldiers from the 8 directions, you should try to protect Bhishma. That is clear attitude of diplomacy. And then what happens after that? Bhishma Pitama in this particular shloka, he sees that Duryodhana is actually a little bit fearful in his heart. Although he is trying to portray that everything is cozy, everything is good, he's trying to say that, okay, we are all assembled together, we have Dronacharya, we have Bhishma, and all the great warriors who are like Maharathis, who can defeat hundreds and thousands of soldiers. But at the same time, he carries a lot of fear in his heart. And therefore, Bhishma is able to understand that. So Bhishma is able to understand. That's why he blows the conch shell. He blows the conch shell to dispel all the fear in his heart. And also actually in the previous shlokas, what basically Duryodhana does is he tries to glorify Bhishma Pitama and he feels comfort. So Bhishma Pitama tries to reciprocate and tries to encourage Duryodhana as well. So, but one of the very important point which is mentioned in the purport is that the main reason why Bhishma Pitama actually blew the conch shell was he understood basically that because Lord Shri Krishna is present in the opposite army, the victory of the Pandavas is certain. The victory of the Pandavas is certain, and therefore he is trying to tell through the blowing of his conch shell. He blows like a lion that although whatever efforts you may do, he is trying to, like, you remember the past time where Arjuna and Duryodhana both goes to Krishna, and it is the army which goes towards Duryodhana, the Kuru army, but Krishna is there along with Pandavas, and therefore it is sure that Krishna is actually the Pandava side is going to win, and therefore Bhishma Pitama is trying to convey by blowing his conch shell, by symbolism, that whatever effort you may do, whatever tries of diplomacy that you might have, ultimately it is the Pandava side who are going to win. But at the same time, he wants to decrease the fear in Duryodhana's heart as well. So these are the main points. Now, if you understand Bhishma, it is mentioned that Bhishma is a great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty. He has been present from the very, very beginning. And Bhishma is a very, very prominent personality in the whole of the Vedic scriptures. He is called as one of the 12 Mahajanas. So let's go and look back to the history of who Bhishma Pitama is. So Bhishma Pitama actually, there was once what happened was there are different kind of demigods. Like there are Ashtavasus, there is Maruts, there is Adityas. There are different kind of demigods. And once it so happened was that there were Ashtavasus who were floating in the sky. They were going through the sky. And what they saw was on the ground, they saw one cow by the name Nandini. And so the Vasus were there along with their wives. And one of the wives especially got very, very attracted to this cow. So she said that I want to have this cow to his husband. And sometimes it so happens that when the wife is demanding, the husband has to fulfill. So the Vasu said, okay, we will try to fulfill it. But he said that you understand that this particular cow is of the sage Vasishtha. And this is very dear. And this particular Nandini cow was actually the daughter of Surbhi. There was another called Surbhi. And Surbhi cow types are actually the cows which can fulfill all of the desires. And especially in Golok Vrindavan, there is existence of Kalpavriksha trees, the desire fulfilling trees. The dust particles are also can fulfill all the desires. And especially the Surbhi cows are present in Golok Vrindavan. And these Surbhi cows are also fulfilling all the wishes. In fact, Vasishtha Muni, whenever he used to organize the feast, with the help of Surbhi cows, he used to satisfy all of the guests who used to come to his ashram. Because whatever he used to ask, Surbhi cow used to fulfill. So anyways, Vasishtha Muni was not present at that time in the ashram, and the Vasus, one of the Vasus, although like all of them were together, one of the Vasus went and stole the Nandini cow. The Nandini cow was stolen, and Vasishtha Muni came back to the ashram, and he saw that, okay, what happened? Where is the Nandini? So basically these sages are actually, they are Trikalagya. They can understand what happened. So he sat down in meditation and he could understand that these are the Vasus who have actually taken. So he cursed all of the Vasus that although you are demigods, but you are not behaving like one. So therefore, you have to take birth in the lower planetary systems, that is the Earth, where you have short lifespan and actually the demigods get very, very terrified. So it is something like you are being asked to go to Afghanistan, or somebody who lives in USA, he's asking, goes to live in Syria, Afghanistan, a place like that. It will be very difficult. They won't understand. They are terrorists. It's such a horrible place. And similarly, demigods, these creatures, so when they are being told that they have to come to the earth, it becomes a very terrifying prospect for them. So they think that we have to take birth in a human womb. That is so, and they understand that the description is there in the Bhagavatam, how a baby has to be there in the womb and he has to suffer so many torture. So they understand all of this and therefore they are very much terrified that they don't want to come to this, especially to the earth planet. So they went to the Vasishtha Muni and they said that we are very, very sorry, we apologize for whatever we did. Now, you have to understand that these sages are Vaksiddhas, that whatever they say becomes true. So they said, okay, but I can basically forgive you, but the person who actually stole the cow, he has to suffer. He has to stay there for long. So, okay, so that happened and that one of the Vasus, will come back to him later, that one of the Vasus who had to stay for long, that was Bhishpitama, that was Devavrata, his other name was Devavrata. Parallelly, what happened was that there is one personality called as Mahabhisha. And Mahabhisha, he got the opportunity to go to very high planetary system. So, like there is among the different grades of 14 planetary systems, that is based on how better your consciousness is. And that planetary system is being awarded. So Mahabhisha went to the topmost Satyaloka. And there in the Satyaloka, after he performed actually 1,000 Ashwamedh Yagyas, and therefore after performing so much piety, he was awarded to go to Satyaloka. And he was there in the Satyaloka, he was residing with Lord Brahma and his associates. And one day Ganga actually came to assist Brahma in one of the basically yagya in which he can do worship the Supreme Lord. And at that point of time, everyone would had assembled together, but for some reason, Mahabhisha got attracted to Ganga, and he actually had a very lusty glance towards Ganga. And seeing this, Brahma said that you do not belong to this planetary system. You have to go down. He cursed Mahabhisha. And he said, because you had desired Ganga, now you will get Ganga also, but you have to go to the lower planetary system. So, there is, now coming to the Earth planet, there is a person called as King Shantanu, who was born to Pradeep, who is another glorious king. And this Pradeep had actually done austerities along with his wife for a very, very long time. And one day they actually gave birth to this King Shantanu. And Shantanu was actually once, Shantanu grew up and then he was actually walking through the Ganges, and then on the bank of Ganges he saw this particular lady, which is Ganga herself. Now we have to understand that in the various scriptures there is actually river Ganga and there is a personality Ganga also. So on the bank of Ganges, although the river was flowing, but Ganga herself personified was present there. So this King Shantanu actually approached Ganga. And Ganga said, okay, if you want to marry me, you are a king, I can marry you, but I have condition that you will not question me. You will not question me whatsoever, whatever action I do. So Shantanu was very much attracted to Ganga, and he said, okay, fine, I'll do whatever you say. And Shantanu and Ganga were married, finally. Then what happened later is that they gave birth one after another to sons. And so Ganga Devi actually gave birth to one son. And as soon as she gave birth to that son, Shantanu was joyous, but soon his joyful nature turned into misery because Ganga took that son and dropped her in the river. And this was shocking for Shantanu, but he could not question because he had given that vow. So, again another son was born. Again she dropped it. Second time, third time, fourth time, 7 times like that. And on the 8th time, he could not control because he said, how can you be so cruel? How can you throw your very own sons to the river? And she said, okay, now that you have questioned me, I'll have to leave you. And then she told that these sons are actually Vasus. They were the demigods in the previous world. And this 8th Vasu is the last Vasus among the 8th Vasu, and he has to stay now. So she doesn't drop the 8th Vasu, and he was named as Devavrata. He was named as Devavrata, and Devavrata was taken to the higher planetary systems. Ganga actually took him, and basically she helped him teach from the great personalities. Like Brihaspati was teaching him various scriptures. Parshuram taught him astras. So this exalted personalities was taught by exalted gurus in the higher planetary systems. And once he was being taught by all of this, once what happened was that again King Shantanu was dejected because the Devrata was gone along with Ganga. What to do? He was dejected, and he again was passing through the Ganges river, and he was feeling very down. So one day what happened was that he saw that in the Ganges, the river flow has stopped. And he thought, what has happened? Why the river flow has suddenly stopped? So he walked ahead and he saw that there is a embankment created by one person by the help of arrows. So one arrow after another, there was a wall that was created. And like each arrow was shot, and this big huge wall was created, and the river flow had completely stopped. And he saw that what is happening? Why you are making the river Ganges stop? And he went to this particular person who was doing that, and that with his potency, actually that person disappeared. After some time, actually, then Ganga actually brought Devavrata, and she told that this is your son Devavrata, and now you can have helped him train through all of these different gurus, and he's now properly trained, and now he can assist you in your kingdom. And then Shantanu brought Devavrata to his kingdom, and both of them actually went together, and they were very, very happy. Now Devavrata actually with time he grew up, and he was told us that he would be the crown prince, that next he would be the successor who would actually be leading the complete Bharatavarsha. Previously Bharatavarsha used to be a big kingdom, like even Afghanistan, Pakistan, even to the Bali region. So like a lot of the big region of the geography of the world geography was actually Bharatavarsha. And King Shantanu was leading that. He was the king of all the kings. Now, as Devavrata was the crown prince, he was about to lead that later, that whole kingdom. One day, King Shantanu actually was again walking through the river. That was one of the patterns that King Shantanu had. He used to follow he used to be near the banks of the river. Please sit. So, he used to be on the river bank, and he actually saw one lady by the name Satyavati. Now, Satyavati was actually a daughter of a fisherman. She's a chief of the fishermen. And so basically King Shantanu got attracted to this particular lady, which is Satyavati, and he went to her, and she said that, look, I'm just a young lady, you have to go and ask my father. So naturally, Shantanu went to her father, and so her father said, let's go, that's okay, that I'm very honored that a king like you wants to have a relationship with my daughter, and you want to marry her, that is all fine. But I have one condition, and that condition is that that only the son of that that her daughter actually should become the king. So he said, that is not possible because I've already named my other son, Devavrata, as the crown prince, the king, future king. So it was denied. So he came back. So when he came back, Devavrata could actually see. So this is one of the qualities of a good servant or a good son, that they can easily recognize that when a person, even though morose, he can understand that even though they might try to appear happy, but they can understand that they are morose, they are sad. So now he asked repeatedly to Shantanu what happened, and Shantanu would just not tell. He said, no, something happened, today's food was not good, or something like that. He used to make some kind of different arguments, which are invalid arguments like that. And so basically his chariot driver, Shantanu's chariot driver, then later told, actually King Shantanu got attracted to this lady called Satyavati, and somehow she has, her father has actually put this condition that only Satyavati's son can be the future king. Now, I said, okay, no problem. So Devavrata actually went to that fisherman chief, and he told that, don't worry, I'll never become the king. Your Satyavati's son can actually become the king. He said, that is all fine, that is okay. But what if in the future your son actually tried to have fight with Satyavati's son, and then these two parallel chains of family would start fighting because they would understand that Bhishma is the elder son and he's more capable and things like that. That might happen. So then actually Devavrata took a vow, and he said that I will never marry. Now you have to understand that this kind of a celibate vow is something which is very common amongst Brahmanas, Brahmacharis, Sannyasis, which happens. But for a Kshatriya, he has to constantly live in a place where administration activities are constantly taking place. And especially in an atmosphere where the activities are very passionate and you are being surrounded with very, very beautiful princesses, it's a vow which is very difficult to maintain. Very, very difficult to maintain. And previously, like these days, people might be hypocrite, but previously people were very, very straightforward. And they could understand if somebody is taking a vow, then he would follow it. And therefore, when Devavrata took this vow, there was chant in the sky from the demigods, and they said, Bhishma, Bhishma, Bhishma. They said that this vow is so terrible in nature, that how can somebody actually follow it? And then they start chanting the name Bhishma, and that is how Devavrata got the name Bhishma. Now the problem with this vow is that as he was trying to follow this vow throughout the journey of the Mahabharata, at different times he has to face a lot of problems because of this. Because of this vow, the succession became quite a challenge in actually Kuru dynasty and the Pandava dynasty. Now Shantanu actually married Satyavati, and Satyavati actually had two sons by the name of Chitrangad and Vichitravirya. So Chitrangada actually became very glorious king, and Chitrangada's fame actually spread so much that once what happened was one of the Gandharva's name was also Chandragnath. So he said that your glory is spreading to the higher planetary systems. So either you exist or I exist. And such is the nature of enviousness in this material world. You see? So if somebody might think that I want to go to the higher planetary systems, I want to go to Swarga. Like if you go outside and if you ask the purpose of life, they would say that, okay, I might want to go to Swarga, I might want to go to higher planetary systems. But such enviousness even exists in the higher planetary systems. It's very difficult. And therefore Chitrangad, this other Chitrangad who was Gandharva, he became envious of this Chitrangad. And he said that, come, we have to fight now. And it is the dharma of the Kshatriya that if somebody, that he cannot do palayanam, that if somebody is asking to battle, they have to fight anyhow. He said, okay, we have to fight, and then they fought for 3 days, and after that, one of the Chitrangad actually, the Satyavati's son actually died. And then later Vichitravir actually, he married Ambika and Balika. So Bhishma Pitama actually went and he went to Shalva and brought, he went to Kashiraj, sorry. Kashiraj had 3 daughters. Their name was Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. So he went there and he said that I'm going to take these 3 daughters. Everybody started laughing that Bhishma, you said that you're going to follow this vow, but now you are trying to, just because you saw somebody beautiful, you are trying to marry. He said, no, this is for my younger brother, Vichitravirya. So as he soon as took, he said that I am going to take whoever wants to challenge. And naturally, rest of the kings were very, very afraid of Bhishma Pitama. They understood the glorious nature of Bhishma Pitama. So they did not fight. But there was one king, his name was Shalva. And Shalva actually came forward. So then what Bhishma Pitama did was, he completely killed the horses, he broke the chariot, and then Shalva was dishonored like that, humiliated like that, and he had to leave the place. And he did not kill him. So now Bhishma Pitama actually brought Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. And Amba said that, oh, I have already actually given my heart to Shalva. So he said, why did you tell me? So Amba said, you didn't even give me the opportunity, you just put me in the chariot and brought me here. So he said, okay, you can now leave. And Shalva actually, and then Amba actually went back to Shalva. So Shalva was like, Kshatriyas have nature like that. So he said that, see, a lion doesn't take somebody else's prey. You have to hunt your own prey. I mean, a kind of culture like that at that time. So he completely rejected. He said that I am not going to, I was humiliated like that. And why would I actually take you now? Go back. So Amba actually went to Bhishma Pitama. And at that point of time, Bhishma Pitama, she told to Bhishma Pitama that you caught my hand. So when you caught my hand, in the Vedic culture, like even if you hold basically a woman's hand, then you have to marry. So this is a very difficult thing to understand. And throughout Vedic scriptures, there are many instances, even when Yayati actually caught hold of Sharmishtha, Devyani said that now that you have caught my hand, you have to marry me. So, you can sit here. So now Devyani, so basically, but Vishwa said, no, nothing doing. I cannot basically marry you, but I have to follow my vow. So then Amba actually went to Parshuram. So if you remember, Parshuram was actually the Astra spiritual master. The Astra master, he taught Astras to Bhishma Pitama. So as Parshuram approached Bhishma Pitama, he said that you have to marry now, Amba. So he said, no, I will not marry. He said, but I am your spiritual master and I am saying that you have to marry. He said, no, nothing doing. He said, a spiritual master who does not let me follow my vow, I reject such a master. So Parshuram said, how can you say like that? And then Bhishma Pitama and Parshuram started fighting. And they fought for a very, very long time, many days. And after that, Brahma came to stop them. Two very great personalities fighting together. So Brahma came, stop, you're going to cause all destructions everywhere. So then basically this fight, so Parshuram actually also was very impressed by Bhishma Pitama. He said that, okay, I am very, very impressed by your fighting skills. So I want to give you a boon. So I want to give you a blessing. He said, you want to give me, Bhishma Pitama said, you want to give me a blessing? He said, yes. Then, please stop this fight. I said, okay. So the fight was stopped like that. Even Brahma intervened and like that. And Amba says that, what is this? What about my revenge? So he said, Parshuram said, see, I tried, but you see, Bhishma Pitama is very, very firm to follow this vow. And so basically then Amba actually, so Amba actually was Kshatrani. So the Kshatriyas have a nature like that. And when they are like lioness. So just like Kshatriyas, they are a lion and they are like lioness. So if they think that you have humiliated them, if you have tortured them, then they will come back with a revenge. So Amba actually did a lot of austerities. Why? In order to kill Bhishma. She did a lot of austerities and Lord Shiva got pleased. So when Lord Shiva was pleased, said, okay, I'm pleased by your austerities. Now you can take this weapon. So Amba said, see, I'm in a women body. How can I actually use these weapons? So she said, okay, then you can use this in your next birth. So Amba was born in the next birth as Shikhandi, and he was actually born as a son. She was actually born as a woman and transformed to a son. And it was later that Shikhandi was being used for in order to kill Bhishma. So Bhishma actually then brought Ambika and Nimbalika to Vichitravirya, and Vichitravirya basically developed tuberculosis. He was greatly attached to Ambika and Nimbalika both, and then Vichitravirya also left without having any son. So you see now Bhishma again he brought Satyavati. Satyavati had two sons, Vichitravirya and Chitrangad. They also died without having son. What to do? Then actually Satyavati told that she had another son from Parashar Muni, which was Vyasadeva. He's called as Krishna Dwarpayana Vyas. And then Krishna Dwarpayana Vyas was actually brought basically to have kids with Ambika and Nimbalika. So in the previous ages, it was allowed that an elder brother actually can have kids with, in case the husband died. But this is prohibited in this age. In this day and age, actually, such activities are called as sinful. They are not allowed. So therefore, there were sons which are born, and they were from Ambika. There was first Dhritarashtra, and from Ambalika there was Pandu. Basically, when Vyasadeva and Ambalika united together, Ambalika was actually very pale because she was shocked to find how Vyasadeva was looking. He was in terrible nature. His eyes were red, short, and matted hairs. She became pale, and because she became pale, the Pandu was born. Pandu was pale in color. Pandu means pale in color actually. And because Ambika, when she had united, her eyes were closed. Therefore, Dhritarashtra was born, was actually blind. And therefore, they asked that please, the Satyavati asked that please have one more son. So then actually Ambika, she asked one of her maidservants, beautiful maidservant, to go forward, and when she actually united together with Vyasadeva, they gave birth to Vidura. And Vyasadeva said that this person, Vidura, would be very, very wise in nature. So that is how you can see the whole lineage. There is Dhritarashtra, Pandava, and then there is Bhishma here, and then there is Vidur. Again, from Dhritarashtra, the whole Kuru dynasty happened. And then we all know that the war of Mahabharata started. So when the Mahabharata war had started, at that point of time, Bhishma had laid down certain rules, and he said that we have to all follow these rules. But as soon as he passed away, that all of the rules was started getting violated. And because we know that happened by how they killed Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was actually being killed by 7 Maharathis at a time. That was a very cruel nature of cruel way of trying to kill one warrior against 7. So Bhishma, before he passed away, actually there was one instance that happened because Duryodhana was very much discouraged. He said that, what is this? You have some affection in the corner of your heart, and because of which you are not killing Arjuna. So you see, as you can hear from today's shloka, Bhishma was very moralist in nature, and he had made a vow that whoever is the king, I am going to follow him. That is my dharma. But here, Duryodhana was trying to accuse him that you are not properly following your dharma. So then later what happened was that Bhishma said that this is the arrow. This is the arrow with which I am going to kill Arjuna tomorrow. And again, you all know that Bhishma Pitama actually is such a personality who has taken some vows, and if he takes a vow, people get afraid, people get scared. So Arjuna, what he did was, so Krishna has been savior throughout Mahabharata. He brings certain plans which are difficult to understand for the rest of the people. So Krishna said, Arjuna, do you remember that there was a war against the Gandharvas when all the Kauravas were defeated? And at that point of time, Duryodhana said that if you ask me anything, I'll fulfill that. So Arjuna said, yes. So Arjuna went to Duryodhana and he said that I want your crown. And Arjuna had also that ability that he used to speak similarly as Duryodhana. So Arjuna wore that crown, he went into the quarters of Bhishma Pitama. It was semi-dark at that point of time, and he started speaking in a voice of Duryodhana. And he said that, I want Bhishma Pitama, do you know that arrow with which you are going to kill Arjuna tomorrow? He said, yes. He said, give me that arrow, I want to keep, I just want to make sure that it is safe. So Bhishma Pitama said, what a scoundrel Duryodhana is, that he doesn't believe me. He said, okay, anyways, take this arrow. And then he took the arrow, and then Arjuna went away and disposed that somewhere. So that arrow was not found, and Arjuna was not killed. And then later, as we know about Shikhandi, with the help of Shikhandi actually, Krishna told that you have to put Shikhandi forward, and then actually Arjuna killed Bhishma Pitama with a lot of arrows, and Bhishma Pitama did not resist. So before this, actually Bhishma Pitama, because his vow was broken, like he had taken the vow from this arrow I'm going to kill. So he said that, okay, you made me broke this vow, tomorrow I am going to make sure that Krishna, you will break your vow. So what was Krishna's vow? Krishna's vow that I will not lift any weapon. So he fought so fiercely that even Krishna's body was pierced. Arjuna's chariot got completely destroyed at that point of time. And then what Krishna did was, this is one of the glories. Bhishma Pitama was actually a devotee of the Lord. And Krishna had made a vow that I will never lift a weapon. But just to fulfill the vow of Bhishma Pitama, Krishna broke his vow. Krishna said, okay. And he lifted a big wheel and he approached Bhishma Pitama that you are trying to kill me, I'm going to fulfill your vow and I'm going to break my vow just because of you. And so basically at that point of time, Bhishma Pitama said, okay, he dropped all his weapons. He said, yes, you can actually kill me. So this is still basically, this is one of the rasa between a devotee and the Lord. So in the Vaikuntha planets, in the higher planetary systems, such kind of fight doesn't happen. So this kind of a rasa between the Lord and his devotees can only happen in the basically the material world. And that is why basically here Bhishma Pitama and Krishna were there in the opposite party in order to fight. So and it is mentioned in one of the Bhagavatam shlokas, he mentioned that when he was giving the arrows to Krishna was feeling a lot of pleasure. Even though on the outward we might feel that those arrows were piercing the body of Krishna and Krishna might feel enjoyed, but Krishna is enjoying it. He's a divine personality, his body is completely spiritual, he doesn't feel any of the material afflictions. So later, by having Shikhandi as the barrier, Arjuna killed Bhishma Pitama, he laid down in the bed of arrows, and at that point of time, there were beautiful prayers, and I would like to basically end by those prayers. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, like we have sets of Srimad Bhagavatam, you can buy them. Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the 18 Puranas, it's called as the Spotless Purana. And so this is Srimad Bhagavatam, first chapter, shloka number 9. The chapter name is Passing Away of Bhishma Deva, when Bhishma Deva actually goes away. So some of the shlokas are here. Bhishma Deva said, when he was on his deathbed, and he is trying to, you see, Mahajana Yena Gatha Sapantha. Mahajana are telling what we have to do. And even at the point of death, that is the glory of the Mahajanas, that they are teaching lessons. And here, Bhishma Deva is saying that let me now invest my thinking. There's shloka number 32, first chapter, first canto, chapter number 9. Let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which was so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Shri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created. Shri Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the tamal tree. His body attracts everyone in the three planetary systems. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face, covered with paints of sandalwood, pearl, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruit of results. And he says that fulfilling my vow and sacrificing his own promise, as I was telling here, Vishma saying, he got down from the chariot, took up its wheel, and ran down toward me hurriedly, just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He even dropped his outer garment on the way. May he, Lord Shri Krishna, the personality Godhead of world's liberation, be my ultimate destination. And shloka number 40, let my mind be fixed upon Lord Shri Krishna, whose motions and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Vrijadhama. The damsels imitated the characteristic movements of the Lord after his disappearance from the Rasa dance. So in this way, Bhishma gloriously left his body, and he was able to focus on Lord Shri Krishna. And because he had this boon that he can leave the body by his own will, therefore he left the body in the Uttarayana, when sun is on the ascending, and he basically saw Krishna face to face, and he left and attained the lotus feet of the Lord. He went, made his life success, and went back to Godhead. So therefore I end on this note. Mahajana Bhishpratama ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Anybody has any questions, comments? Okay, so it's already 7:45. You can take some prasadam. Okay.